Oh no, we here. Today's video we're gonna be ranking the top. We'll see what I end up doing. It's either gonna be like top 30 or top 40 wide receivers. You'll see in the title. We'll see like the type of range it gets to. But in sleeper, the way I'm gonna do it, you can like. Oh wait, hold up. You can set a player, so we're just gonna do it that way because it's easy. Like 10, 20, 30, 40. It's easier that way. But let's just get started. With the first player or wide receiver, it's going to be Puka Nakua. Um, God dang, that's loud. I'm going to, dude. Can I not? Hold on. Like if I close this, how do I turn off the volume, bro? I don't want. I don't want that. Okay, I might just if the video you can hear it. Oh well. The thing about Puka, 23 points per game last season. I've talked about this before. Absolutely elite offense, elite team. Like again, I've said this in the previous videos, but the only concern I have is the Rams' offense might not have to throw the ball as much because they have such an elite defense, and so they might be in more running situations. But like I'm not worried about him. Again, 1,700 yards, missed 2 games, 10 touchdowns, 23. It was like 23.4 points per game. I think he's the best player in fantasy, first of all, and so I certainly think he's the best receiver. Second receiver, I mean, this is also very, 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 very easy. It's Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, he's consistent. He's arguably the best receiver in the NFL. He's on a team that will be an elite offense. He's with an elite QB in Joe Burrow. He scores a lot of touchdowns. Like he's just a fantastic player, great situation. I don't really think I have to explain this. At 3, this is another pretty easy one for me. It would be Jackson Smith-Njigba. I mean, after last season, yeah, he lost offensive coordinator. Might be a little bit of a step down. But, I mean, if I was predicting him to do the same thing he did last year, then he'd be ahead of Chase. So I'm predicting a little bit of a decline by JSN. But, I mean, he's certainly the next receiver that I personally would have on the board. And so, yeah, JSN at number 3 for sure. Number 4, this has him ranked so low. Sleeper has him ranked so low for some reason, but it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's just consistent. Jared Goff puts up crazy numbers. He's a really good wide receiver. Scores a ton of touchdowns. Will have a bunch of yards and a great offense and a system where they will probably throw over like 4,000 plus passing yards for sure. He's a safe option. He's a good option. Like I definitely have St. Brown at 4. At 5, this is where I would have CeeDee Lamb. I have CeeDee Lamb here because, again, great offense, great QB, going to put up a ton of stats. Yeah, George Pickens was amazing, but CeeDee Lamb is the more talented guy. Missed time last year, was a little bit banged up, but he's a better wide receiver than George Pickens. He could have an absolutely huge season and a great offense with a really good QB. It's just, I think he's set up to have a huge season. So, like these 5, I think, okay, these 2, these 3, you could combine JSN, but like these 3 is a tier, a little drop, and then these 2 are a tier, and then there's another drop. Next, I personally would have, that's tough. I'm not gonna lie, that's tough between these 2. I think I haven't like predetermined thought about this. I thought it'd be better if it was just organic and I went through the list. I think I would go with Justin Jefferson though at number 6. Just like talent alone, Kyler Murray, the things he struggles with throwing over the middle of the field, Justin Jefferson does eat there a lot. It's just Justin Jefferson is so talented and he's going to get so many targets. It can't get any worse than last year. I think his touchdowns should go up, even though Kyler Murray doesn't throw for a ton of touchdowns. He's just arguably the best receiver in the NFL. It's hard for me to not put him here, even though I would be a little bit concerned. And that's really close between him and Drake London for me. Like to me, that is very, very close. Like Drake London, if you wanted Drake London over Justin Jefferson, I don't think that's ridiculous whatsoever. Drake London, he gets so many targets. I think Tua playing will actually make it even better because Tua, I feel like a lot of time Tua tries to get the ball out quick. A lot of Drake London, the routes they have him run is a new scheme. because I'm pretty sure they got a new offensive coordinator. But still, new scheme. But a lot of the routes he runs are short routes where he's just shifty and can stop quick, and he's physical. And I think that fits Tua. There's really no one to take away competition like Kyle Pitts, but where you're not really worried. And then Bijan, obviously. But Drake London, he's going to get a ton of targets. He's going to catch a ton of passes. He'll probably end up having a lot of yards as well. He gets a lot of touchdowns. Like, I'm almost convincing myself to have Drake London over Justin Jefferson. But I think Justin Jefferson, like, if Kyler Murray plays really well, Justin Jefferson could have 1,500 yards and 8 to 12 touchdowns. Probably not 12. 8 to 10 touchdowns. Like, I think that's a ceiling. I don't think London's having 1,500 yards. He could have 12 touchdowns potentially. He could have a ton of receptions. I think Justin Jefferson's going to have a ton of receptions too. That's really tough. Like, you kind of have to pick and choose there. At number 8, this is probably where I'm different than consensus. Well, especially if you look at the rankings. I mean, Malik Neighbors with the injury. I don't even know where I'm going to rank Malik Neighbors. We'll see, but. Like, I'm not a Nico Collins next. I probably wouldn't go George Pickens next. I probably wouldn't go Chris Olave next. My next, let's make sure I'm not tripping and forgetting. Nah. My next would probably be Rashee Rice. So when Rashee Rice was playing, maybe we can look at this as well. Okay, well, actually, let me look. But his points per game was ridiculous. He's playing with Patrick Mahomes. He's Patrick Mahomes' number one target. He gets a ton of volume. Maybe you don't think he's the most talented receiver. It doesn't really matter. He gets a lot of red zone looks. He was going to score a lot of touchdowns. They use him in a lot of unique ways. It's like Rashee Rice would probably be my next one on the board. People might disagree, but I just think Rashee Rice is in a better offense than maybe not George Pickens, but maybe not A.J. Brown either. But I also am going to have A.J. Brown next, spoiler, but definitely better than Nico Collins. Definitely better than Chris Olave. Not better than T. Higgins, but T. Higgins is a 2, right? So it's tough. But yeah, I would personally go with Rashee Rice as my 8th. At 9, I just spoiled it, but this is where I would go A.J. Brown. I'm super high on A.J. Brown. I could even have A.J. Brown at 8. He's in a New England offense where I think he fits extremely well next to Drake May. It's not like his competition for targets is crazy, like Romeo Doubs, Kayshon Boutte. Like, are these guys really taking away a ton of targets for A.J. Brown? I don't think so. I think they could use him in a lot of unique ways as well. I think he could have an absolutely huge season. Probably will score a lot of touchdowns. Drake May almost won an MVP last season, was like 2 votes away from the MVP. So you're playing with an MVP caliber QB. I think A.J. Brown's just a really good receiver as well. I think he's super talented. I'm all in on A.J. Brown. I think he's going to have a absolutely huge season. And so, yeah, that's why I have him at number 9. And at number 10, this is tough because if you're going through the options, I'm not going Malik. The injury is just way too scary. You don't know how to look off the injury. Nico's really good. Nico's going to have, like, good moments. It's just, like, the Texans, their offense isn't great. I don't know how much they're scoring. George Pickens, like, he had such a good season, but I just see a CeeDee Lamb bounce back, so I think he'll drop a little bit. Not a lot, though. That's why it's like he totally can be in contention. Chris Olave's in an offense that they run so many plays, but I just fear Jordan Tyson might eat a little bit into that, and they still have, like, a Jawan Johnson who ate a lot into it. I think they'll lean more into the backs with Etienne and Kamara. But, like, Chris Olave's good, and then you start getting the guys I really like T. Higgins, Devontae Adams, Ladd McConkey, Devontae Smith, Emeka Egbuka. Like, these are all guys that I really like. So it's tough to say who my 10th is. Garrett Wilson, I think, could be interesting. Man, this is tough. This is really tough for me because it's like I like Devontae Smith a ton. Do I like, okay, if I'm drafting, would I rather have Devontae Smith or Nico Collins? I'd probably look at that and say, man, that is a really hard decision for me. Man, I don't know. I think I would rather have Devontae Smith. Now it becomes like, would I rather have Devontae Smith or George Pickens? I think it's hard to not go with George Pickens after the season he had last year, honestly. I do think that. I think it's tough, especially in the offense season. So I'm going to go George Pickens at 10. It's just hard. Like he was so good last season. The only point I have towards regression is just CeeDee Lamb's going to take and eat more into his production, but he's still in an absolutely elite offense. He's a very good player, and he's going to have a great season. Could score a ton of touchdowns. Like, I don't know. That's tough. 11 here at the wide receiver position. This is probably where I'm going with Devontae Smith. People might say Devontae Smith over Nico Collins is crazy. I just don't personally believe so. I think Devontae Smith is going to have so many targets. He's going to have a bunch of receptions. His yards are going to be ridiculous. His touchdowns, we'll see. I'm not too worried about the touchdowns, though. In a much better offense than Houston. Houston's offense is not great, right? So I trust the Eagles' offense more. I like Devontae Smith as a player a ton. He doesn't really have much competition to take away targets. Neither does Nico, really. But I like the offense better. I think they'll score more. I think they'll score more touchdowns. I think that they might throw for similar passing yards, Hurts and C.J. Stroud. But again, just the touchdown potential goes to Devontae Smith for sure. So, yeah, I got Devontae Smith. At 12, this is probably Nico. I'm just trying to think. I like Devontae Adams a ton. I like Ladd McConkey a ton. It's just like you're not nearly as worried. What am I here? You're not nearly as worried about a Nico Collins. Like, these guys have some risks, and where Nico, he's just a really good player. He's easily the one in a concerning offense, but he's still easily the one. So, yeah, I think I would have Nico Collins there at 12. At 13, this is where this is tough. So this is like a trend of players where I kind of view them similarly. Chris Olave, T. Higgins, Devontae Adams, Ladd McConkey, Emeka Egbuka. I really like these guys. Honestly, next I probably have Devontae Adams. He just scores so many touchdowns. He's in an elite offense. If the Rams get into the 5-yard line and up, you know how many times they throw to him. He's gonna probably lead the league, or at least be close in leading the league in touchdowns. He's gonna be over 10. Could push 14 again. Missed games last season. I could definitely see him having more yards. I could see him having 900 yards and 13 touchdowns, and that's a ridiculous fantasy season. A guy that's gonna score a touchdown. He averaged a touchdown every single game last season. He won a game. You're getting a touchdown every game. That's the type of guy you want on your team for sure. I think he's safe. I also think he can have big weeks. If Puka ever has any... Puka went down last season and then missed the Jaguars game. Devontae had 3 touchdowns in that game. So that's just the type of stuff that can happen. I'm all in on Devontae Adams this season. Then next, at some point you probably have to go with Chris Olave, just pure volume that he'll probably get. They run so many plays in that offense. So, yeah, it would be tough to not go with Chris Olave. What was he last season? Can I see? He was the wide receiver 6. I mean, he did have 100 receptions, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Wide receiver 6. So, I mean, maybe I'm too low on him because I'm having him at the wide receiver 14. And he was the wide receiver 6. Obviously, if he stays healthy, some of these guys aren't going to stay healthy, then you jump up. Health is obviously a big thing. I might be a little too low on Chris Olave, honestly. But I've talked about my reasoning. He's gonna get a ton of volume. I don't know if he'll get 9 touchdowns, maybe. I actually think this line is pretty reasonable for him. So, yeah, I'll have Chris Olave go next. Because again, Malik Neighbors, that's going to be really hard to place. The injury is just so concerning. You don't even know. He's not on the PUP, but that could mean he's back week 4. Maybe he's back a little bit sooner, but we don't even know how he's going to look. And it's but at some point, it's worth the risk. I just got to figure out where that is. I think next I would probably have to go with T. 11 touchdowns last season in 15 games played. He's a wide receiver 15. I have him here at the wide receiver 15 again. I think he could. If he stays healthy, I'm so in on the Bengals offense. It's I have to believe in T. Higgins. So yeah, I'm gonna have T. Higgins going next. Then this is where people probably aren't gonna like it. They're probably certainly not gonna like it. I have Lad McConkey next. Why do I have Lad? Yes, he had a sophomore slump, 100%. I agree. He definitely did. He was disappointing, super disappointing in his sophomore season. But to me, it's like this Chargers offense. I believe in it crazy. Their offensive line's going to improve. They got Mike McDaniel. So I think Justin Herbert's in for an absolutely huge season. And so I believe in Lad McConkey. He's their wide receiver one. Touchdowns, why he is small. So it's like, it's tough. Sometimes tough for those smaller guys to get a bunch of touchdowns. But I just think he could have a ridiculous amount of yards. And he's still just going to score because he's a good player. So, yeah, wide receiver 16, I have Lad McConkey. I do. I have Lad McConkey. 17. This is where it is getting tough. I personally like Emeka Egbuka a ton. I like Mike Evans too. It's just like Garrett Wilson is such a talented player. And Tedero McMillan is too. Neither of these offenses I just like. I don't like either of the offenses, so I try to avoid. It's like I would way rather have a Tampa Bay receiver or a San Francisco receiver than have a Carolina, a Bryce Young-led receiver. But Garrett Wilson is so talented, and it is probably better than Justin Fields, that I will go Garrett Wilson. He's such a good player. Now, his ability to get yards after or like play through contact and his physicality, awful. As soon as this dude get hits, he is on the ground every single time. Yards after the catch, unless he's just like wide open because he created space. That's the only way. Otherwise, he can't. He's not physical whatsoever, but it's really, really, really good. As like a route runner in hands and all that. So it's like, I just feel like I'm getting disrespectful if I rank him much lower than wide receiver 17. Wide receiver 18, I would probably hear, because it's like Tedero, I'm just concerned with Bryce Young as his QB. So then I personally like Emeka Egbuka. I think no Mike Evans here anymore. He should be healthy. He had some health problems last season. I trust Baker Mayfield. I trust his Tampa offense. Bucky Irving, like, he wasn't a huge piece. Kate Ottens, it's not like he's taking crazy amounts away. Chris Godwin's not taking crazy amounts away. Jalen McMillan's not taking a crazy amount away. Mike Evans is gone. Like, Emeka Egbuka has to eat. He was so good to start the season. Like, if you just look, he still finishes wide receiver 23, even though he had a very... Oh, can I not go to his 2025? Okay. Oh, yeah, I can right here. Look at the way he started the season, and then he got injured, but 23, 12, 14, 20, 31, and then kind of was very, 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 very disappointing the second half of the season. So, like, there's definitely, I'm not going to sit here and act like that this is the safest pick. It's not, because he was very disappointing the second half of the season, but I do attribute that to his injury, and so I believe in Emeka Egbuka. I think he's very talented. I think he'll have a huge season. And so, yeah, I'm going to have him at the 18. At the 19, again, this is tough because it's like, I haven't mentioned Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is another guy that I think is going to just be pretty solid. Would I rather have him or Tet? That's tough. I think Mike Evans is in this tier as well. I'm just making sure Sleeper doesn't have anything crazy. Okay. At some point, Malik Neighbors becomes worth it. I just don't. If I'm looking at these options, right, I think this might be where I'm like, I'm willing to take the risk on Malik. I'm very, very, very concerned about Malik, but it's like, what? I don't think Tet is this crazy, amazing option. Neither is Zay Flowers. Neither is Terry McLaurin. Neither is Mike Evans. And these are kind of like the next guys I have up. So even if you get half a season of Malik Neighbors, if he is what he was, or even close to what he was, I would rather have half a season of that type of player, because Malik Neighbors is ridiculous talent, than get a Tedero where I'm like, it's hard to even start him sometimes because you never know with Bryce Young. Bryce Young might throw for like 100 yards in a game. Zay Flowers is pretty good, but the Ravens offense is weird. Sometimes it'll be the Derrick Henry shows. Lamar Jackson spreads it around. Zay Flowers would certainly have big games. Like, what was he last season? He was a wide receiver 7 last season. Had a ton of yards. So not a lot of touchdowns. Again, small wide receiver, so it's tough. I mean, he was really good, for sure. Lamar Jackson, I expect him to be healthier. Maybe I am too low on Zay Flowers. Yeah, I probably am. Based on what I just seen, like, Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're the wide receiver 7 and I'm having you at the 19, but he's like, I'm going Malik Neighbors. I'm going to go with Malik Neighbors next. I think it's worth the risk. And then I'm going to have Zay Flowers. It's not surprising to me. This stat line is not surprising. I think he get a ton of yards. It's just the touchdowns is so hard to predict. And I think he's an off and on player. Like he probably was last year too. 28-14. Then he had a 3, 14-12. Then he has an 8, 14-11, 12, 11-12. Like this is pretty safe. This is pretty safe. You're probably feeling really good. And then a 6. So then he has a bunch of big weeks in a row. Oh man, that is he was better than I thought. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I'm gonna put Zay Flowers next. He definitely had a better season than I anticipated. And I expect Lamar Jackson to be better. So this is 20. We're probably gonna go to 40. We're probably gonna go to 40. At 21, again, same tier. It's like Tet, McLaurin, Evans. These are gonna be my next 3. This is probably where I have Tet because like McLaurin has his own worries with health and Jaden Daniels' health and coming back after that season. He is like really the only target. But Tedero McMillan kind of is too. It's not like Jaden Daniels throws for a crazy amount of yards either. So yeah, I think this is a good spot for Tet to go at wide receiver 21. Then at 22, that's where I personally would have. Would I have McLaurin or Evans? I might have Evans. Do I like Washington's offense better or San Francisco's? San Francisco's. He's the wide receiver 1. So is McLaurin. Ricky Pearsall could eat into it. I just think he could have a lot of touchdowns. He doesn't really have anyone to eat into his share, though. And McCaffrey's going to catch a lot. Yeah, so I'll go McLaurin, and then I would go with Evans at the 23. At the 24, this is where it's tough. This is where we get to a point where I don't love these options, honestly. Like, because I'm not falling into the Luther Burden stuff. Like, look at this. Look at Luther Bart. Look at Luther Burden last season. Big game here. Other than that, garbage, garbage, garbage. Mid, garbage, garbage. Bad, 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 bad. Okay, okay. Good, bad. It's like, what? Like, what are we going off of? Like, I get Ben Johnson. He picked him. No DJ Moore. Probably going to have a bigger role. Not saying he's not going to improve. He certainly could improve. This is just way too rich of a price. Jalen Waddle. I like Jalen Waddle. I still like Courtland Sutton. Like, I think they're both going to be, like, good. I think they're both going to be good, but I don't think either of them are going to be fantastic. Like, Jalen Waddle, he's off and on, too. Like, crazy inconsistent. Broncos' offense is certainly better. But again, I still like Courtland Sutton. Like, why is Courtland Sutton ranked so much lower? You know what I'm saying? He's the wide receiver 13. He's off and on too, but better than Jalen Waddle. What was Jalen Waddle? Again, situation certainly matters. I think Jalen Waddle is talented. He's 24. I just think Courtland and Jalen are so close together. It's kind of going to offset, and they're both going to be like solid, but neither of them are going to like really go crazy. I'm not a DJ Moore. I don't think DJ Moore's just very good anymore, and the Bills' offense is weird. It's like way too spread around. It's not really built for a fantasy wide receiver. J-Mo, like the thing about J-Mo, he had a great season, wide receiver 12, right? I knew his season was going to be good. He's so off and on too. Like bad game, good game, bad, 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 good, 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 good. Holy fuck. He had a stretch here, but didn't Saint miss some time? That's what I'm saying. And then bad, mid. Second half of the season, he was very good. I just kind of, if Saint's going to be healthy, if Laporta's healthy, Gibbs healthy, I kind of expect to see more of this off and on with some big weeks. I don't think he's going to be like insanely consistent like he was second half of the season last year. Carnell Tate is interesting. I think he could, but it's like, how much do I trust Tennessee's offense? I don't know. It was not good last year. They didn't throw for a ton of yards whatsoever. I think it'll improve. But how good really is it? I'm not sure. Christian Watson never really produced at a high level. No Romeo Doubs. He just gave him the contract extension. But how much do I really believe in him? I'm not sure. Roma Dunze, certainly interesting. Started the season off really good. Look at this. Started the season off amazing and then just fell off a cliff and then was just bad. Had 2 good games in there, but other than that, bad. Playoffs, or I guess this doesn't show the playoffs, but playoffs he wasn't good either. So that's tough. And it was a foot injury, right? Jordan Tyson's a guy that I personally really like. I think he could eat because they run so many plays, and I just think he's really talented. But Jordan Tyson at this price is very, very, very high. I'm a Marv guy as well. I'm going to have Marv ranked pretty high. DK is like kind of a safe type of player. He was the 26? Like wide receiver 26. He played 15 games. What is this? The 24? Like he's in this range. I need to pick someone, though, and if I'm going to pick someone, it probably would be Jalen Waddle. Talent-wise and on an offense that should be pretty good, I would probably go with Jalen Waddle. Then I would probably select Jameson Williams, just because he's on a great offense, and yeah, he's boomer bust, but still, with this tier of people, I would probably have JMO. Then at 26, this is probably where, like, I'm like a Cortland Sutton, a Rome Odunze. I like Rome more than Luther. Maybe a Carnell. I'm just a little concerned. Honestly, I would probably go with Cortland Sutton. I really think they're both going to be close. I think Jalen Waddle's more talented, but I just think they're both going to have similar production. Then this is 27. That was 26. At 27, I'm gonna have Jordan Tyson. I'm telling you, I believe in Jordan Tyson a ton. 28. This is where I would have Rome. This is probably where I had Rome. I mean, he was drafted so high too, and you have to remember that. 29. This is where I'm going to have Marv, kind of similar to Rome. I view them somewhat similarly. You just get Marv way later, but Rome's also on a better offense. I like Marv more as a player than Rome. Rome's on a better offense with a better QB. Both of them, I think sometimes it takes time for these receivers to like really break out. I could see it happening. I view them similarly, so I like that they're right next to each other. Next at wide receiver 30. Yeah, so we're going to go to 40. At 30, this is where I would go with Carnell. Then at 31, like these are just safe. Who's safer, DK or DJ Moore? DJ Moore has a little bit more upside than DK Metcalf, so yeah, I would probably then go DJ Moore. Then at 32, I would go with one of these two. I'd probably go with Christian Watson and then go Luther Burden. Both of them I'm not excited about, but like I could see the reasoning to have some upside. 34. This is probably where I'd have DK, but I also like. Do I like Parker Washington more than DK Metcalf? I might. Look at what Parker Washington was, the wide receiver 27, but we're all the way at 30, and I feel like they're gonna have a lot of yards. He's just like a safe option. But DK, so is DK. DK's a better player, but Parker's on a better off. I'm going Parker Washington, man. I'm going Parker Washington, and then at 35, I will go with DK Metcalf. 36. I want to get some of my guys in here, though. That's the thing. But it's tough. Like Michael Wilson, I don't know. Like I think he'll be okay. He give you like maybe 8 to 12 points sometimes. Not sure about Mekhi Lemon. I guess I didn't mention him earlier with the Devontae Smith, but I don't see him really having a huge season. Jacoby Myers is all right. Brian Thomas Jr. You could he's like boomer bust. Like even last season, which was a horrible season. It's like bad, decent weeks, good week, bad, injuries, bad, 2 decent weeks, then bad. Like he'll have some weeks where he's solid for sure. You know, if he gets a touchdown. So it's like Brian Thomas probably should be who I have, but I like Quentin Johnston a ton. I'm looking at him right here, and if it's like, am I picking between Brian Thomas? I would probably go with Brian Thomas before I go Quentin Johnston. But everyone else here on the board, it's like I think I would personally rather have Quentin Johnston just because of how good I think the Chargers offense would be. I'm not even saying Quentin Johnston's a great player, but he's a deep threat on Justin Herbert's a good deep ball thrower, great arm, and a great offense. I think Mike McDaniel likes Quentin Johnston, so it's like I think I would go with Quentin Johnston at 37. At 38, like Alec Pierce, I'm worried about the injury. Ricky Pearsall, like I kind of want to believe in Ricky Pearsall. I think he's worth a stab. I'm just trying to see if it, like I love Josh Downs. I don't know if that's crazy, but I think Josh Downs, even Jalen Coker, I kind of like, but that might be a little too high. Like I think Ricky P would be worth the shot, just because like he's another guy drafted fairly high. I think it was first round, and George Kittle's coming off Achilles. Jawan Jennings is a Viking. Maybe Mike Evans isn't the same player, even though I mean obviously I believe Mike Evans to have him fairly high, but I think Ricky P is worth a stab there. Then honestly at 39, like people, you can say I'm crazy for this, but I don't think I'm crazy for this. I'm going with Josh Downs. No Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce. We don't know about the injury. Josh Downs will get to play more snaps, play more than just in the slot. Like I like Josh Downs as a player at 39. And lastly at 40, is there anyone like again Jalen Coker? I kind of like. I just think that's a little too rich. Now we're a little bit too low. If I was looking at these options, I like again Michael Wilson's probably a little safe. Mekhi Lemon probably has a little bit more upside, but I also just I think Michael Wilson's probably the better pick. It's probably just at 40 I probably would be Alec Pierce, right? Because he was really good last season. What was he? Wide receiver 28 in 15 games, had 1,000 yards. Like we don't know about the injury, that's why it's concerning. But I mean he's more worth it than any of these guys to me. So yeah, at 40 I would go with Alec Pierce. And yeah, so that's going to be my 40. I feel pretty good about this. There's a couple things I could switch. Like I could honestly, now I'm looking at it, I can see me having Marv at the 3.7 and having Tyson 3.8, Odunze 3.9. But I think I feel good about almost everything else. These are my top 40 wide receivers in fantasy football. Let me know if you disagree with anything. Let me know if I'm tripping, if I'm stupid. There should be a video on the screen. Should be a subscribe thing too. I don't know where they're at, somewhere. Maybe like right here, right here, right here, right here. I'm just pointing to see if I can get it right. But yeah, that's going to do it. If I could get to OBS. Okay, yeah, it's going to do it. We out. Deuces.